just short of 1,500.
Woo!
Oh my word! Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. I just started that. What LiDAR system have you got, Ian?
The new DJI Pro that has come out today. I have ordered it. By the time I got to doing it, the cheaper pack had sold out as well. But the DJI website wasn't really that clear because they're talking a lot about the Ronin and whatnot. And I thought I want to be sure that I don't buy anything that's still got a dependency on it, because I've just seen a review and it was saying you can use this all standalone. So I just wanted to double check before I clicked buy. So you can use it all standalone. It's just it integrates into their ecosystem. But they show it with the monitor. The DJI monitor has got like 3 or 4 aerials on it, and it looks really cool. But what they don't say is that monitor costs an extra £1,200 or so.
Yeah.
So I thought, well,
what have you just bought? Let me Google this. What have you a DJI?
It's the big release from DJI. It changes the way we look at things. A focus on the world. Blah 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 blah. Hype.
Focus thing.
It's a fancy focus thing. It just means that he won't be quite so blurry as he usually is.
My shooting's spot on, but yeah, it's nice for the fast moving stuff.
I just shoot everything in f/22.
An f/22, f/35.
Yeah, tiny aperture. That means everything's in focus all the time. It's great.
I see.
Like action cameras,
You didn't get that joke.
I like my depth of field.
Oh, you can do that in post. All these editing programs have got add depth of field and post. You can make the background blurry just in the editing.
Yep. So that's the loveliness I've got. So, in fact, I can show you while you're here. This is my setup.
Well, it's arrived already. Have you ordered it today and it's arrived today?
No.
It's the future.
This is my setup at the minute where
look at that.
This
Too
is
much
my
money.
manual setup. And so my focus is here at the front, and I normally have a manual follow focus.
And what are you shooting? What do you make? I've never seen any of your videos. Where do they go?
I've got videos out there. I'll send you one later. I'm mainly doing stuff to help other people out, to be fair. So I'll go out in their name. But yeah, this is like obviously anamorphic lens, naturally. And yeah, anamorphic's even slightly tricky to focus because they're generally softer lenses. I say I'm all right with that anyway. I've always shot manual, but it's just really nice when you're following a subject that's doing a lot of movement that you're nailing the focus all the time. You're not a little bit behind as you're trying to correct. So the LiDAR system, you put it up here above your lens at the front. It does the range. It uses AI to work out faces. So it will keep the person in shot. And I've seen some really good tests with it today by it's a YouTube channel called Media Division. It's very good. It's a German guy. He's not one of these shills. He proper does really in-depth videos. So it's one of those that you can trust with the reviews. Just have to make sure that doesn't fall down.
So is that just running a cog around the knurly bit on the lens?
Yeah, so what it's got at the top there is it's sending out the LiDAR rays to get the distance on everything in the scene. And then you have some control over that. So if there's 3 people in the scene, you can say which one it is you want to focus on.
All those rays going out would be quite distracting, though, wouldn't they? Well, let's see all that stuff going out
there. They've got to ruin every photo, haven't they? Really, having all that in every photo.
Yeah, it's
Can't imagine.
Light rays. Look at them. Terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, you can see it from behind there. You can't see it from the front.
So that was 1,500 of our Earth pounds. Did you say?
It starts off around it's about 800 for the entry level kit, and then it's close to 1,500 for the fancier kit. And by the time you've added other stuff onto it, the sky's the limits that you can add onto it. But it's just really, this is just really cool to be able to shoot with manual lenses so accurately. Because there's a competitor called PD Movie. But it doesn't have the intelligence behind it, so it's a plain LiDAR. So if you're shooting something and then something comes in front, it'll switch to whatever's just got in between you. Where here you can have it so you're locked on the face. So if the person you're shooting puts a hand up, it doesn't change the focus; it stays on the face.
So it's like manual focusing. That's fantastic. But so did you buy the standard package or the Focus More kit?
I ended up buying the one which was the pack, the bigger pack, because that was all that was left because it had sold out the cheaper one already. One thing to keep in mind with the test, though, it's quite common with a lot of videos to have smoke for the extra atmosphere. Smoke will affect the LiDAR, and then you won't be getting the accuracy anymore. So that is a genuine limitation you have to keep in mind.
So the next thing will be just have a little thing on your body which will have time of transit, and so it doesn't matter. You won't, even if you can't see the person, they'll be in focus.
Right,
Just transmit a little, measure the time of transmitting the thing, bouncing it back. So even if it's complete darkness, you'll still be in perfect focus.
Yeah, it's absolutely
ideal for film noir.
Film, exactly. It'd be interesting if they could grab that LiDAR could grab some distance data, so you could start building models in.
It's got a little graph. It has a little graph on the screen. It shows you the vertical, sort of like the distance information. Just kind of log that.
You make a good point, both of you there, and one of the reviewers has already said this, that it does a depth map, and it doesn't allow you to record that, but that's one of the things they've missed as a an extra facility they could add is to actually export that depth map, because you can actually use those with VFX, so you can overlay that onto the footage, and obviously it knows depth away. So, for example, if you had an actor and they're 3 foot away, you could surround them with smoke, and the smoke would look genuine because it wouldn't actually render over the person. It'd know the space they occupied.
How long before they have a module you can clip on your drone and just do LiDAR from your drone or the ground? And
it's a very expensive LiDAR for that purpose.
Well, this is 20-meter range.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, proper LiDARs, you're flying at hundreds of feet up, and you're getting millions of points a second. Well, that's very interesting. It's a lovely new toy. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Let's share this tab now and just jump straight to that.
Oh yeah, knife fight.
Knife fight. So Ian, you can't get stopped by the police now, and or anything, because they're going to make your life dreadful.
Well, I definitely can't go for Gatwick Airport now, or I'll definitely get strip searched. But yeah, this is the first one that's come back today, but since we spoke last week, there's 2 contempt of court applications gone in against the Chief Constable of Sussex Police. Wow. So there's 2 freedom of informations. One where I've not had an answer at all, so I don't really know how you justify that. One, I've had an answer which we discussed a previous week on the show, where Sussex Police are still maintaining that despite aeroscope being seen on Gatwick police station roof, that there definitely not was any counter-drone system in use before the RAF turned up. So I just don't know how they explain that. And they've made no attempt to explain it. If they had, we wouldn't be where we are. But yeah, there's this first one with no answer, and then I'm waiting for the reference for the next one. But all the paperwork's in. Never done this paperwork before, and obviously it's not written for General Joe Boggs to easily understand it, as is always the case. I sat there with legislation at the same time as typing away and thought, I hope I've got this right. Clearly I have, because I've got me reference now. But yeah, it's all new territory. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I'm hoping that I succeed at the end, and maybe we tick off a few legal firsts.
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, is he on bail? This Chief Constable, have they locked him up? Because if you're in contempt of court, they usually lock you up, don't they?
Yeah, that seems to be the thing that doesn't happen here. But yeah, if it'd been other way around and I'd committed contempt, then yes, there'd be, here, Mr. Hudson, here's the handcuffs.
We'd be testing all those drone delivery services, and with the files and all the other stuff. It was quite amazing that this is going forward to this point, and really this has the implications now for the wider community in the UK, and the police not being able to get away with stuff. It's gone a bit bigger than just the Gatwick drone now.
I think there's only one thing to say to Sussex Police, isn't it? Stop digging.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't understand why they've dragged things on this far. You'd just think, wait, we've lost. The stuff I asked was pretty trivial. You'd think just answer it, but no, stubbornly set on this course where it's going all the way, and only they know why.
Yes, Ian is the ultimate auditor.
I think Gary's frozen.
Yeah, I think he has. It's cold in South Africa, isn't it? Look at that. Now we can talk about him. He's not here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good snapshot, that is. So what else has happened in the world of drones, Ian? What have you seen?
Oh, you caught me on the hop there. I've been...
See the cowling fell off the Boeing airplane? Not having much luck, are they, with these Boeings?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with that one, I think that's a maintenance issue probably with that airline. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But the trouble is now, you see, with Boeing being as they are, everyone's looking out for everything that goes wrong with them. But the funny thing is here, though, you're thinking all these years we've had all this drama over drones and some sub 250 piece of plastic. It's like the bits are falling off anyway. There's nothing for the drone left to hit. You know, it's deteriorating as it's flying through the sky.
Exact self-destruct, spontaneous dismantling. It's like, and if you're not going to be hit by a bit of falling Boeing, it's a piece of falling space station these days. That battery in that house in Naples, Florida. It's like the sky is falling, quite literally, and we're still getting the blame. So never mind. And what did I see? There was something I saw that I thought was, oh no, I'm old and I forget. It's terrible. Oh yeah, that Predator or Reaper drone, some woman civil contractor walked into the propeller while it was going and killed herself.
Oh dear, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, that's the second time it's happened apparently.
Yeah, I mean, what I have seen is there's been a story, but it's been a story for a while now with the UK. They've got a set of drones, and apparently they don't fly very well in anything but excellent weather, which is a slight.
The British ones.
Slightly
overweight, underpowered. Oh, it sounds like most of us, doesn't it? Overweight and underpowered. So Gary's gone now. He's completely gone. South Africa's probably been wiped off the face of the earth by the look of it. I don't know. So I should have prepared. I didn't know I was going to be the host today, and I've got nothing.
Okay, give me 2 minutes and I'll Google some. Oh, there is a story which the register put out. US insurers using drone photos at the moment to deny home insurance policies. Yeah,
but I mean it's trust insurers. I mean, I always trust insurers, as I said in my latest news video, that they're the ones that do the risk assessments. They're always looking out for risk, and they can use drones to more accurately calculate risk and adjust policies or cancel them accordingly. That's why I think our biggest tool in proving to regulators that we're being over-regulated is to sell them, go out and buy some insurance for your drone operation. See how little it costs to get that. Because what is SPV UK charging? About 24 quid a year or something?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That was a thought I'd had, and it's a perfect demonstration. So FPV UK have added commercial operation onto their third-party insurance. So it does have one criteria that you can't have an income more than £15,000 for the drone stuff. But for somebody that's just is a hobbyist and thinking, well, I want to be commercial, but I don't want to commit all the expense first. I want to see if I can actually do a few jobs and don't absolutely mess it up. Then it's perfect for you. You can try them out, and you're not going to be breaking any insurance laws. Because what people don't appreciate is although the CAA, we don't have the differentiation now between commercial and hobby, strictly with the law. That was never true with insurance. Insurance has always kept that difference between the two tasks. So it does give you a greater peace of mind. And the very fact, like you say, that it's 25 quid and you get all those benefits, that tells you how few claims the insurance industry is dealing with from drones. And that's particularly important because usually what does cost you is the third party stuff. They're worried about the damage to other people.
Public liability.
Yeah, exactly. So the very fact that is so low tells you drones these days just, the insurers aren't stupid. They're thinking this is a little plastic toy. It's doing nothing. It's hitting something. The only thing that's getting broken generally is the drone.
Yeah. No, it's sooner or later someone will have to wake up, because when the first EHang falls from the sky, then they'll start looking at, well, maybe the drones aren't the problem.
Oh, and funny you mentioned that as well, because they've been again hitting social media. every time there, it doesn't look very good to me. You've got your
The
airspace.
groundbreaking,
Yeah.
groundbreaking technology.
That was a good one. People know it's yes. Ehang did a tweet saying they're bringing groundbreaking news. At which point, Bruce pointed out that if you are flying people hundreds of feet in the air, the last phrase you probably should be using is groundbreaking.
Did you miss me? Did you miss me?
Oh, have you been away? Oh,
yeah. I don't know where my internet went. It's fallen off the sideboard.
It was probably being backed up onto a floppy disk somewhere, and they accidentally
yeah, they have in a lot of ways just arrived here. Gary's moving. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. Hello, cool. Hello, everybody that's out. Said hello to everybody.
A quick note for the US guy in the comments that's saying it's $1,000 per year per airframe in the US. Normally, the commercial insurance in the UK generally is in those regions. In fact, it'll be a little bit more, I think, over a year for the airframes here. But that's where you're covering the airframe as well, so that if the airframe gets damaged, that's covered. If your ground gear you've got with you gets damaged or stolen, you're covered. So the commercial insurance, the fully fledged stuff, gives you a lot more. This is just purely third-party cover. That's the £25 a year.
Now, Chris, yeah, I'll call you to come on if you're if that conversation we had come to pass. You need to jump on this stream right now. But anyway, hello, Morecambe. Send rock. The people of Morecambe. Yeah, I had a very interesting conversation with Chris a wee while ago, and if he's managed to work something out, that'd be quite extraordinary. I hope you're well, Chris. Yeah, you won't have missed me. You were plainly talking about the FPV UK insurance, yeah, yes. which is great stuff, isn't it?
Yep.
And
it's the same around the world. Most of these hobby groups have really, really cheap insurance because the risk is so low. That's what we're saying. Basically, insurers have done the risk assessment. They've examined everything, and they'll even use drones to fly over people's houses and adjust premiums according to the risk. So they're very risk averse. They're very much aware of what risk factors are, and the fact that they deliver us insurance at such low rates means that they are saying it's a pretty safe thing to do. We're not getting many claims, not having to pay much money out, so we don't have to take much money in. Meanwhile, regulators, politicians, and Karens are going, "You're going to kill us all."
Yeah, it's and that organisation as well. I mean, dare I say, you can almost. Yeah, you can put almost put the insurance to one side. It's worth the price of admission, just because of what a great job they're doing. In my humble opinion,
when you look at how much work Simon's put into what he's done, I mean, it's worth paying that money just to support him.
Yeah,
although it doesn't.
I think so.
In his pocket.
Yeah, no, quite. But no, I fully agree. If you're operating in the UK, they've done way and commercially. So that £15,000. So it's, I don't know quite what you said about it, but it's up to £15,000, isn't it? Which turnover, which doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're a wedding photographer in that drone, maybe you said this. Did you say this? Right. But if it's just supporting the odd gig here, it's another tool in your photographer's toolbox.
Yes.
It's not your number one thing. Then it's perfectly enough. And if you're doing better than that, then you probably need more than that. So
yeah, exactly. It's your stepping stone to test it out and then say, actually, so a lot of people were saying, well, it's going to, impact the likes of cover drone and whatever, but I don't think it will. In fact, it might work out better for them in the long run, because there might be more people that think, actually, I can go the commercial route because I can test it out first, see if I'm really cut out for it. And if I am, so some people might actually go and do it, find out they are capable, get the proper insurance that would have never gone that path because they would have felt it too daunting, originally of jumping from hobbyist one day, commercial the next. The fact that it's a stepping stone. I can see that there will be some people at the same time will be frustrated by it, and I understand why, that you are going to get more people. There is going to be more competition, and it's not an industry that makes, as I've said before, a great deal of money as it is when you're dealing with video and photography tasks. So you could have more people chipping away at it, which, that's an unfortunate downside. But at the same time, I still can't say anything other than positive about it, because I do think it underlines just how safe drones are.
Yeah.
That there's that level of confidence to provide such cheap insurance. And at the end of the day, it's better we have people fighting about insured than uninsured all day long. I don't
It's
understand
interesting.
why they didn't make that a legal requirement. All the silly things that we put into law. Instead, it should have just been, let's back away with the regulation to the degree we've gone to. Let's just make sure everyone's insured and that where things happen, they're paid for, because most of the time it's just going to be trivial damage. But if trivial damage is paid for, everyone's going away from that with a smile on the face. It's not a problem. But unfortunately, we haven't got, we've got the kind of wrong way around.
Yeah, in New Zealand here, and in most other countries, I think the hobby regulators or the hobby organisations like Model Flying New Zealand, they are, for example, if you've got Model Flying New Zealand wings, which allows you to fly within 4K of an airfield, so you can't use that for any commercial operation. Well, that's recognised by CAA. They specifically say not to be used commercially, which is kind of like, and the insurance doesn't cover you for commercial operations. This is an interesting shift from hobby into commercial, and I wish other national model flying bodies would do similar things and extend their, to give people the ability to try out this as a potential, side hustle or whatever, without having to go in and paying huge amounts of money for insurance they may never use because they try a couple of times, find there's no money in it, and then they've already paid an annual premium or something, and it's just money down the toilet.
What I would like to see both the hobby and the commercial insurance offer, even if it was an option, but ideally as standard, would be some legal representation, so that if you are, if you are that press reporter that's trying to take a perfectly legal and safe piece of video to get that story out, that because we've seen, actually there is a story.
Just tell us about that, Ian.
There was I think it was in Wales, a normal press photographer, a police officer just taken exception to the fact he was taking photos. So they decided to try and make an example of him. They tried to make him plead guilty and he wouldn't. So it's going all the way to court. And the day before it was supposed to go to trial, they dropped it because they realised there was no case. The case was a police officer's taking exception to someone taking photos. It's not against the law. And CPS knew it wasn't against the law. I don't even know how it got that far. But the worry would be that if he'd have had a drone, we know drone laws would have been just misused to stop him taking that photo. And that's why I'd like to see legal in a standard so that people can get on, just do a phone call and say, I'm not having this. I'm operating legally. I shouldn't be being harassed. And that there's somebody on the other end of the line that can deal with it. Even if it's a case of a civil case being able to take it afterwards, it's the only way that, there's going to be a kind of common sense balance.
The auditors have a field day around there, wouldn't they?
Just saying a little something for Cliff there. I'll stop sharing that as Liberator. I'd forgotten that thing was called the Liberator, but Cliff knows what we're talking about. That'd be a very good model to have, by the way. I'd be quite happy to have a Liberator. I've just seen this.
Got to print an ORAC as well, 3D printed ORAC.
The ORAC's what I'd go for as well. I've got a doorbell kicking around somewhere. That's what they had on the top, wouldn't it? The doorbell ringer. It'd be fun actually to put some sort of assistant in there and try and get that the ORAC voice working and have it on your desktop as an assistant. That would be a really good problem.
Just big children.
Someone must have done that.
There is Etsy somewhere where they do a mini ORAC that's USB powered. It's not cheap still. I still think it's £100 and it is tiny.
I'm looking for it now. Can you tell? I'm looking for it now. I want one. I flipping convinced myself that I want one. I want one. Oh yeah, there it is, mini ORAC. Yes, I see it. I see it. Excellent. Let me put that up there in a second. Yeah, no, good luck to FPV UK. Really good luck to them indeed. And if you're in the UK, should support them. And if you're baby commercial pilot, you're the sort of person that ARPAS should be bringing into the fold and looking after you and help lift your career and journey into the drone world. And they should also be fighting the fight in the Gatwick cases and all the other stuff. Even this reporter in Wales. They should be getting behind that little fight. But if they're not going to make any money out of you, they won't. If it's going to
Ian's
tread
a bit
on
of a
the
bush
toe.
lawyer now. If you need legal representation, go and see Ian. He's a DIY guy. He'll do it for you.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, rapidly getting professional knowledge. But it's such a shame that in the UK, ARPAs are supposed to be representing you, and they just plainly don't. And there's such a small membership. Just about every single FPV Facebook group, or every other Cubepilot or whatever with the UK members will have more members in different Facebook groups than are in ARPAs. So how they get to represent people, it beats me. I know they go to meetings. That's how you get to you push your way in and go to meetings. Rant ends. What else do I want to? I know what I wanted to put up. Let me present something that isn't Blake 7.
Do you know we've got the world's first space minister in New Zealand? She told us.
I did see that. I did see that. Oh, Ian put up this now. What do you want me to have a look in these? This where have I going to go to here, Ian?
No, this is someone else's freedom of information.
Okay.
You can just download the latest reply if you want. But this was a funny one because I've taken this one onto Twitter and tagged in the Police and Crime Commissioner for it.
This one, the initial review response.
Because Sussex Police know they're now under the watch of the ICO, they're doing, look at that. Good morning, Mr. Lloyd. I guess they're doing really the polite things to pretend they're being helpful, and they're even wording it as though they're being helpful, and then they're being absolutely as equally as unhelpful as they ever have been, just in a polite manner. So this is, hopefully, yes, internal review. The internal review is where you've escalated it, where you said, you've been flim-flamming me, this is nonsense, sort it out, and then they're supposed to go, you know what, we were being a bit harsh. Yeah, here's your answer. But no, it's Sussex Police. So they will not do. So this was actually what we'd had a look at this the other week originally. He'd asked, just as we, West Yorkshire Police were asked for the National Police Air Service logs from Gatwick of all the helicopter flights. And they were like, yeah, sure, you can have them. Here's the complete full details. And now that Sussex Police have been asked, can we see your drone logs for December 2018? And there's every day, and then it gets to the Gatwick incident, and then it's redacted. So they basically saying in here, we can't unredact those days because then you'd be able to work out what drones we were flying, and that's national security. And despite the fact our drones are all so old now, they've all been replaced. If we were to tell you what they were, some terrorists would be able to hold the entire country to ransom and all this nonsense. So, but it's a funny thing that I had to put on to social media and point out, because they didn't say to him, and this is the truth, that in fact in another freedom of information request, in fact by the barrister Richard Ryan, who's been on the show, he'd asked for all the drone equipment, and he didn't ask for just the Gatwick. He asked for it all to date. So Gatwick, so Sussex Police said, no, you're not having that. ICO got involved and said, you are giving it. So they have given out not only all the Gatwick equipment, but all their equipment up to that date of that freedom of information. So to this guy that's come along innocently and he said, can I have these records? They've told him, no, you can't have that information. We never give that kind of thing out, which is nonsense because they already have done. And then what makes it doubly funny is you go to the Sussex Police drones Twitter account, and all the photos are there of the models of the drones that they had anyway. They're quite happy to show you the drones. They aren't a secret. So what you've really got here is the freedom of information team being caught out, flim-flamming somebody, and again, just making them jump through hoops while pretending to be polite. So yeah, tag the ICO in that as well, so they can see what games go on. It's about time they just stopped all this childish messing about and just answer the questions. And
so you say freedom of information team, don't you mean protection of information team?
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly who they are.
So so 10 people could ask about strawberry blancmanges, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. and you might get 10 different answers with no attempt to join up or refer. What I'm trying to get to is referring back to previous cases. In our answer to Mr. Smith about strawberry blancmanges, we said this. In our answer to Jane Doe, we said this. There's no attempt to join it up.
Them. But when they realise that it doesn't benefit them, they're not going to mention it, which in itself is wrong, because that's what you should do. You should say, oh, actually, we have disclosed this before. Because in then you don't even have to answer the question. You can say, well, refer to this answer over here. We've already answered it. Or they could say, we've answered that bit already, and we'll give you the rest that you need. But it almost always says, almost indicates as well that they don't even know themselves what they've told people and what they haven't. And I just think they've just got a blanket approach. If you mention Gatwick, they'll just don't want to answer, and they'll find any excuse not to. But that's the way it looks.
Sure, can you not get a FOIA of all their FOIAs of Gatwick? Ask them how big's the folder, how big's your drone folder, and what have you said to people?
Oh yes, you could do. Yes, you could do.
What's it? Tell us everything with the word drone that you've sent out.
Yeah, I mean, well, they won't mind doing that, because they know they've told nobody anything and just sent them redacted documents and just told them that they like better sandwiches. So at the moment, they'd be quite happy to do that. But yes, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, in a normal situation, because it's like I have asked, like the CAA, for example, I have asked for some specific. They actually the CAA is quite funny on this. Actually, they have a published freedom of information request that they've done to try and stop people asking the same questions. But if something's a little bit controversial, they don't publish it. They keep it secret squirrel. But if you ask them for it still, they will provide it. So if you hear of a freedom of information, you can say, "Oh, can I say that?" And they will give it to you. So generally, that's the way. I mean, most organisations quite happily publish them all, and you're encouraged to, because the whole point of it is you don't get asked the same questions repeatedly. You save money yourself. So it's only an organisation that's really trying not to answer questions where you've got any reason, to be difficult. Yay! All right.
Yeah, I was right. I always remember there was a doorbell or something like it on the top. That's what I remember of that.
That was a remote control, wasn't it? For it.
You use a Ring doorbell now, these days.
Yeah, you would. You would use the Ring. Look at all the heat sinks. It must have been operating at a fair old rate, that thing. Anyway, yeah. And to go to Cliff's point, I honestly. For me, I honestly believe Richard's intentions, and sometimes I think but might be the downfall of Altitude Angel. That they are trying to do their best many times he's told us that the aim is not to interfere with private flying and for people to get on it. I believe that. Must be a UK show. Yeah, Mick, it must be. What did Mick say? You sent me something, Mick, and I forgot. It was very good. Forgot what it was now. But yeah, I think his intentions are honourable. Whether that will work in this world, I don't know. I really don't know. It might not make him the winner. Other UTM companies are currently suggesting that airliners have NFTs and things like that. So that's what we're up against. Yeah, there's some lunacy out there. Now, before we get on to the draw, because it is prize draw night, I want to talk about present. Let's find it. I should get used to having that ready to go, shouldn't I? When share that. Is that the one? Is this going to come up right? Yeah, this Task Force 99. Finally. Let's see if I refresh this, because if I refresh this, who knows? Philip Wonka might even turn up there. This Task Force 99 are working with this Titan 3D printing. I still don't think I'm a fan of 3D printed model aircraft. But I've never, well, I have. I've made a Spitfire, but or Tian made a Spitfire for me. But yeah, they're in league with some army guys, and they're rapid prototyping and sorting stuff out. And this, to me, is the way Replicator should be. That's what replicators should have been, instead of asking the primes to hurry up and make FPV
Cardboard
stuff.
is better. Cardboard is better. Quicker,
yeah.
much faster. And it's a one-time use, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Those aren't always one-time use, those things. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Absolutely. It is much faster. I think I saw that, I was looking at one of the VTOL ones today. I think it says it takes 18 hours or something to print, of continuous printing time. That's not quick. You've got to have 18 in the battlefield then, or wherever you are. You've got to have 18 hours of power. And there's another thing, the Firestorm, and you look at their container that they have for 3D printing stuff, which costs a lot of money. And the first thing my chum noticed about it was no air conditioning. So how's that going to be? But anyway, that, all those extra rants said, that, to my mind, is what the replicator program should be. We all know what the replicator program is. Mick has 20 to bolster and dope. Yeah. How to enter the... If you go to SUS News, that's this place here. And if I refresh it enough, and if you wait, that advert should change. I'm on terrible internet now, so this is not going to change for me. Let's go to another story and see if it changes. Go there. Oh, that was an interesting story. Oh, it's not appeared there. But that at some time might contain. The only reason this story was interesting is Skybound left their operator ID in the clear on this picture. Nobody's emailed me and noticed it yet, but they really shouldn't have done that. Let's go on to Cubepilot. Ah, there he is.
Oh,
now, if you were to click that fellow there, and God, now I'll slow down. I'll have to add extra names to the prize wheel.
I'm clicking it, but nothing's happening. Oh, that's on the screen here.
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever he appears on SES News, which happens 1 or 2 days every month, you've got to click through the stories. He appears, you click him, you can enter. I will now hold back on doing the thing because I assume some other people may have entered. I will look over here and have a look. Yeah, they have. So I'll and Verna, hello Verna. I guess amazing. You can see you adding. I've got to add your names now. So that's how you get onto that. And well, I'll tell you what tonight's one is without a drum roll. It's another gold cube. That's going to be the prize in a few minutes' time when you all tell me you've stopped entering. Pointless, not pilot. You can't, Cliff. That's us. That's me. That's our company. You can't say that. Right. Let's see if he's entered. I'm going to remove his name from the list right now. No, right.
Did you see the biggest breakthrough in years?
Which particular?
I tweeted about doubling the life of your lithium-ion batteries.
Well, what was that then?
Well, they've decided that some researchers in Germany or Europe have done some research and found that, normally you charge your lithium-ion battery constant current, constant voltage. So you fire a constant current into it until it reaches 4.2 volts. Then you hold it at 4.2 and the current gradually tails off. That's how you charge lithium batteries. Well, they've been experimenting with pulse charging, and they've found that they can get up to 2 times the useful service life out of a battery by pulse charging it with shorter pulses of high current. And that stands to reason because we used to do that with NiCads because otherwise you get dendrites build up. Yeah. And so they're doing it with lithium-ion batteries and getting up to twice the lifespan out of them, so useful lifespan. So I'm expecting now within the next few weeks for a whole rash of new chargers to appear on the market. Pulsed chargers, give your, for models and everything else, give yourself twice the battery life. And EV charging, if this all pans out, it's going to be great because your battery is the biggest, most expensive part of your vehicle, and if it lasts twice as long in terms of service life, simply by changing the charging method. That's a brilliant amount of extra value for nothing, but it means all those charging networks.
A question with that. Does it mean that is it a longer charging time, or is it?
No, they'll charge at a higher current. With the average charging current will be the same, but it'll be short pulses of higher current. And so that means the existing charging networks, of course, will have to be retrofitted. So those people who have spent millions building charging networks will be highly peed off. But it means that it could add significantly longer useful life to the average EV if it all comes to pass. So that's quite interesting. I have seen that mainstream media haven't picked up on that, but it's an interesting paper. If you go to Science Daily, there's an article there on it. So yeah, old technology applied to new batteries could be a really, useful breakthrough, twice the life. That's important.
I guess the thing is, it just needs proving, doesn't it? Because
Yeah, well, they've done the
one
research.
set of researchers, it's always, have they got it right, or is there something a bit wonky here?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like new battery chemistry though, whether you've got to have a long time. If it works, and they've done it over a range of different batteries in the lab, it should work in the field. There shouldn't be any impediments to, and it's not something you can really patent or commercialize because it's an existing battery charging technology. They've just applied it to a new battery chemistry or the latest battery chemistry, because it typically, with high current draws like model aircraft and drones, you get a couple of hundred, maybe 250 charge cycles out of a battery before it's getting a bit soft. And so if you can increase that to 500, that's a huge benefit. I'm going to play around with the charger.
Well, so if I switch my charger on and off quickly, that'll do the
really
same
fast.
thing.
The biggest problem might be meeting emission standards because it's a high frequency. And of course, when you're pulsing DC, high currents, high frequency, you're creating a lot of electromagnetic noise. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that. But that's true of the drive system for an EV anyway. With the motor is pulse width modulated, so it also creates a lot of electromagnetic noise.
Who listens to AM radio anymore? I mean,
exactly.
It's make as much as my spark gap transmitter is really useful now. It's the BBC hang on, stand on. I'm just going to get on a high horse. I can't believe the BBC's switching off even more HF services, which might sound like geriatric old madness, but talk about soft power.
But they're discounting the license, aren't they? License fee will be discounted as a result, I'm sure. Less services,
of course,
less money.
Much less services. But if in times of war, you'd think you'd add services, not subtract services, and for disinformation around the world. It's dilithium technology.
To be honest, you only need social media for disinformation these days.
True. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Now the entries to these to this competition. You'll be in next time as well. But it's good to have some in, and I allow multiple entries as you'll see what I've done. William, Werner, Brian, Matt, and Brandon, you're in this evening, and Simon and Philip, and Jim, Gary, and Jill Gary. I wonder if they're both. There are two.
Pretty good odds, eh? Pretty good odds.
Pretty good odds. Yeah, it's you. So, there's a few more names than that. But I'll because we'll do that in a minute before my power or whatever does go out, and then it's for a gold cube. And there's still, it's this year is the 10th anniversary of Cubepilot. So we have prizes for every month this year, which is very, very generous of El Filippo. Oh, of course, which, they're all right after the earthquake. Luckily, all the friends and family are there and the factory's okay. It's all good. So that's excellent. So it's good to hear that has gone okay for them. I haven't asked you about JetWorks 2, Bruce. That was the other thing I was going to ask you about.
Yeah. Go on then, ask.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me. I mean, are you going to get into the peaceful use of pulse jets?
Absolutely, the peace drone. Yep, that'll be the one.
The loudest thing out there.
Yeah. Exactly. One knocks in more on that. I'm recommencing development of my jet engine projects, which will be interesting, I suppose. But also, I'm going to do an airframe to go along with it. Big problem will be where to test this stuff. There's nowhere in this country you can test this stuff, so it'll have to be covert, under the radar, silent ops with a big pulse jet. Never mind.
With the big, loudest, super loud thing. But you can't go up to that. You can't go up to that tester ground, or did that go? Is that a non-existent?
I don't even know if that's still functioning, to be honest. I mean, because there was no benefit to it, because there was no airspace restrictions, there was no dispensation from requirements of the regulations. It was just an area you could go and follow the rules. Well, there's areas you can go and follow the rules everywhere. So what's the benefit of having it, 5 hours from civilization? There's no benefit to that. So I'll be on the lookout for somewhere I can do some covert testing. CIA will enjoy that. They'll probably try and track me down. But I mean, there's so much development in this area at the moment. And the way to do it is to get on the radar of the government. Oh, look, here's a Kiwi innovator doing, make drones. We're competing with the world, because you notice everyone's gone space and mad. New Zealand government is sending a contingent of people, including the minister, to America for some space symposium thing. That because they're pushing us as a great place to launch your rockets from. And I mean, they don't understand the physics, do they? Why do you think America launches its rockets from Florida? They want to be as close to the equator as possible. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're launching polar orbit, from north to south, in which case you want to be as far from the equator. Well, we're halfway, so we're useless in both cases.
You're useless for either one, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and they're saying, but the thing that really got me, there was a news story and it said, New Zealand, while the minister's there, she's going to be talking to a large number of New Zealand businesses that are based in, where was it? It's Denver, Colorado. So a large number of New Zealand space businesses, high-tech businesses based in Colorado. And then the next paragraph it says, and she believes New Zealand has great things to offer a high-tech community with our easy business laws and that sort of stuff. So why have all those companies gone to Colorado from New Zealand?
Yeah.
If we're the good place to be doing it. It's all typical poly speak, and it's full of hype and wow, gee whiz. It's an excuse for politicians and hangers-on to get on a plane and go and enjoy a few weeks at someone else's expense, drinking, rubbing shoulders with the glitterati and just wasting taxpayers' money, in my honest opinion. But if you get on that gravy train, man, there's plenty to be had.
You should just move into the equator. It needs a few more decades.
It's like the UK though. Yes. What's this British spaceport thing?
Scotland.
I mean, what's the benefit of really? Do they really think they're going to be competing with other space service providers? I mean, look at the Virgin Galactic thing. How did that go?
Yeah. That's gone. Well, Virgin Galactic's still going, but that next thing, the rocket thing's gone, hasn't it? Yeah. And that Virgin Galactic thing's not particularly groovy either, though, is it really? That's just died a death. But he will have got his PR out of it, so that's all he really wants.
Yeah. I mean, SpaceX got the bloody delivery to orbit thing sorted, low Earth orbit. They are the number one provider of that service, and so why would you want to spend a lot of money to get a tiny percentage of that thing? We've already got the Rocket Lab New Zealand, and their claim to fame is they have carbon fiber rockets with electrically powered 3D printed motors, and they're hurling a bit of stuff into low Earth orbit, but they were bought out by an American company anyway, so they're no longer a New Zealand company. They just launched because they've got facilities here and they can do it. So, but if you live in America, you don't even need FAA approval, according to Elon Musk.
You don't even need to put enough concrete down beneath your rocket or whatever. You tore that place apart.
But he can build a new one. Just blow stuff up and build new stuff. That's the research and development cycle. But didn't he get fined SpaceX got fined $175,000 for launching without the necessary approvals? Hurling this massive great rocket into the sky. Whereas that guy in Philadelphia got $182,000 for flying a Mavic Mini over some buildings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mick saying it was an A-22 aircraft. I don't think it was the A-22. I think it was a slightly bigger one. Because that comes
the Foxbat.
But there's another version. There's another version, and the other version came with an autopilot. It came with one before it came with a commercial. So it was what I'm saying with that is it was already had the electric actuators and things like that.
Had no windows.
No, it didn't need windows, did it? Didn't need that windows. Special.
Would run on Linux then, would it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're such a kid. Well, then it might get that terrible bug that's going to kill everybody, and etc. When really that story was it the XYZ thing? The story of that is that was discovered and mitigated against, and if it had been a closed source system, it wouldn't have been discovered and mitigated against. It would have been hidden. So that's actually the beauty of open source.
But if a closed source system, you wouldn't have somebody externally altering the code, though, would you?
Yeah, true.
So that doesn't really work.
All right. Then.
Well, I don't know. Look at D-Link. See, D-Link's, there's 95,000 D-Link routers, I reckon, out there now, which are vulnerable because D-Link built in a backdoor login for service testing, which has no password, and they forgot to take it out. So you can log into any of these D-Link things and run arbitrary code on them. It's a NAS, I think. It's actually a NAS they're using. So it's like, this security is the biggest problem we have because there are always going to be holes and people will always find those holes. And now that we've got our identities and our banking and everything reliant on these computer systems, we are so vulnerable as a society. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm worried that one day there is going to the main concern is mobile phones. Everyone's got everything on them. And one day there is going to be an exploit that gets all of Android or all of Apple, and everybody's bank accounts are going to wipe out in one go.
Be a fun day for the person to hit return. Yes. Yes.
I'm just hoping the spring in this one doesn't break, so then I won't be able to wind it up again.
It will, absolutely, all the way.
We're tech savvy, mate. Because look at the US military, Microsoft, organizations, and Amazon, organizations you expect to have the best possible security. They've all been broken into. There's no such thing as invulnerable security. So government's pushing to have everyone's identity online. I mean, it's going to protect your identity. No, it's going to make it so easy to steal this stuff. Identity theft. You just steal someone's identity. Yeah, crazy.
Enjoy your work day, Mick. Nice to. I was just going to say, hopefully he's still there, Mick. We've got BYD shops down here in South Africa now, which is amazing. There's 4 of them, which is quite a thing. And Cliffio recently and Exact. Shall we do? Oh, I know. Before we do that, because it might take 25, 30 minutes, we'll ask Ian our normal. What else you got to say?
Don't rush him.
Don't rush him. Yeah.
But we started with them.
You're gonna be all right this week. I haven't really. There was. I'm sure there was one thing I'd spotted, but I think it's gone out of my head. So you're all right.
All right. Well, then let's move ourselves to, and let me just before I move to, everyone's gonna be staggered. I really do want people that watch this stream to enter lots and lots of times. So I can't make you win, but I can if you're in lots and lots and lots of times. Oh, before we do it, let's see if anyone else from what is watching now is entered. So I can add them to this one. No, they haven't. So, right. Here we go. So, present. Yes. Green, get ready. Look at that. Come on. And who's it going to be? Oh. Brandon, there you go. Come on down. The price is right. Let me just make sure Brandon, let me make sure I write that down, which I've done. And we will be getting in touch. I think you're in the, I wonder if he still is. He's in the flipping chat. We've actually had a winner in the chat, Brandon. I don't know if you're still here, but congratulations. That's the first time that's happened. That's cool. I like that somebody that's in the chat has won. That is cool. Yeah, good. Right. Okay. Got that. So if we haven't got any more, I better email Philip and tell him. And if I know Brandon is as well, he's the maker of fantastic models for real flight. He's not noticed either. You won, Brandon. You won. Is it Brandon or Brand? Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, you won for real flight for software in the loop. So with that, on that bombshell, I wish everybody a very good evening, and we'll see you again next week at 21 GMT. And maybe, I know what will have happened. No, it won't. It nearly will have happened. Will be what must be the reveal of the Anzu drones and what's going on with those. So that will have happened. That's happening on the 17th, just ahead of the AVSI conference. And I suspect we're finally going to find out what's happening with that other one as well. The Cogito or Cogita, whatever it is. That's got very quiet.
Spectre.
They've all gone.
What about Spectre?
Spectre. Yeah, that one. So we shall see. All right. Dear viewers, look after yourself. We'll see you again, 21 GMT next week. Bye for now. There's one. There's